Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, and I guess welcome back to me because I'm finally doing something as opposed to just sitting and stewing in my juices about whatever else is going on. I have to give you a little update on what's happening because there's a lot of stuff that's been going on. The energy has shifted drastically. Um, Kathy actually pulled some cards on me a couple of weeks ago about the job search, and I haven't found anything yet, and I'm not really worried about it that much anymore. I was worried about it before because the energy was so like that, where I was just worried all the time about everything. I wasn't sleeping. I was having really bad energy surges and stuff like that. So May was not a good month for me at all. I mean, I'll just say it straight up. It was not a good month. But I have kind of come into balance with some other things, and I'm writing again, which is really nice. I have a story list on Archive of Our Own, which you can find online if you just Google it. It's called Archive of Our Own, or AO3 is what they call it, I think. But it's a not profit type of website that hosts for fan fiction, for writing and stuff like that. So my pen name is very easy to find there. It's Eva J, YVA J. Really easy, very concise. And it kind of coincides with me in general. So Eva J. Eva is my nickname. That's what everybody calls. Not everybody calls me, but a lot of people call me Eva. My actual name is Yvette, which is yeah, it's it is what it is. But Eva J is what I go by online as far as writing is concerned. So you can find me on the Archive of Our Own page, and I'm really proud because I'm writing stories again, and I'm working on stuff, and I'm posting stuff again, and it's just really good. So I'm feeling really, really good about that. I haven't written really anything extensive since COVID, which that's 6 years ago, but it is what it is. So I'm writing again, which is really nice. My hair is wet because I just got out of the shower, and it is humid here. It's like not cold, not hot, but humid, and yeah. So, right now it's cool outside, so I'm long sleeves. But yeah, so I am, I don't know, I'm kind of in the middle of like of this unfolding of finding where I'm going, what I'm doing and stuff like that. So on a personal level, it's just what it is. And on a world level, what's going on is really crazy. And it's been crazy for quite some time. And all the astrologers are saying June is going to be one heck of a month for you know who. And I wanted to pull some cards on the energy of that because there's you can't deny it. There is something going on. There's something happening in the world. There's a shift going, and I'm feeling a more optimistic shift. I feel like that May was so negative, and now we're shifting into this new positive energy where it's just kind of surging, and it's happening. And people are rising up, and they're saying, well, we're not going to take this anymore. This is as Joe Biden would say, malarkey. It just is. So I want to do a sort of a read on the energy of what's going on this month. So I've got the Gilded Royale, which is my usually go-to deck for anything dealing with politics, current events, what's happening in the world, and that sort of thing. So I have the cards here, and I'm just gonna give them a shuffle, and I'm going to see what the cards have to say with regards to everything that's going on. A lot of readers are been getting that there's a shift happening. You've probably seen the pictures online of you know who and how awful he looks. And I am not. Um, I'm not a doctor. I never claimed to be. Um, Wheel of Fortune. Um, but what I am seeing happening in the world right now with regards to you know who is um, a lot of people are saying that, and I don't mean the intuitives, but the other people, the independent media, if you will, that on YouTube, they're saying that he is Weekend at Bernie's. I'll just leave it at that. Weekend at Bernie's. So, and there's a lot of memes coming around about that. So I want to get a sort of an energy feel. What's going on with you know who? What's happening with you know who? And oh, card just flipped out. And Judgment card. Okay, I'll leave it at that with that. And Seven of Wands is at the base now. So what we're dealing with is we are dealing with somebody who's trying to stand their own. They're trying to guard themselves against judgment. That's what I get, is that my guides are telling me he is guarding himself against being judged. And that is, in essence, okay, I'm gonna segue back to this, but I'm going to tell you a little story about something that happened in my family about 30, 35, 40 years ago. 40 years ago. I was about 17 years old at the time. So this was kind of way back there. But my grandmother had been diagnosed with cancer of the pancreas, and the doctor gave her 9 months to live. They said that given the progression of this condition and the progression of this disease, she would have 9 months to live. So through this cancer, she became diabetic. She became, she had to, and this, I don't know if this diabetes runs in my family. I have no idea. I know hypoglycemia runs in my father's side. On my mother's side, diabetes, I don't know. But at any rate, my grandmother was diagnosed with cancer of the pancreas, and they said 9 months. She had 9 months to live. Well, my great grandmother was still alive during that time. And my grandmother actually defied medical science by staying alive 3.5 years. So they gave her 9 months. She lived 3.5 years later. 3.5 years she was still alive. And then when my great grandmother passed, then my grandmother ultimately, her health just went down yeah, it just went down. And she passed away soon after that. So the will that a person has to live, even contrary to what medical science tells them, the will to live is very, very strong indeed. My grandmother was proof of that. The doctors were astounded that she lived 3.5 years after her diagnosis of cancer of the pancreas, because it was a terminal condition that she had. So she willed herself to stay alive for 3.5 years because she was worried about her mother and what was going to happen to what was going to happen to her if she was no longer there to take care of her. So it is possible that you know who is kind of in that same place. He is in mentality. He is in that same place where he is willing himself to stay, to keep going. Like the Energizer Bunny keeps going and going and going. And people are like, why is he still here? How is it possible that he's still here? The human will is very, very powerful. And the human will can, in fact, a person can will themselves to keep going. And this is something that people rarely actually experience in life, but it is something that really does happen. And so it appears as though, and let me do this. Let me go to the pendulum, and I'm going to ask my guides about this. So the pendulum is when it goes in circles, like it's going right now, they're ready for a question. This is yes when it goes forward and back, and no is when it goes from side to side, like that. Okay? So clear, please. Okay, thank you. Oh, my guides are very active today. They're very, very active. Okay, guides. First of all, thank you. I want to ask, is you know who, and you know who I'm referring to, is he willing himself to live? Yes, he is. Okay, clear, please. Is this will to live until his 80th birthday? And it goes into yes again. So he is willing himself to live until his 80th birthday. Um, because I don't ask about a physical passing because it's just not the right thing to do, I'm going to ask my guides, will you know who be the leader of the country by the 4th of July? And it's looking like maybe bordering on no, but I can't really tell because it's like, yeah, it's not moving that quickly. But I mean, oh, this is like really weird because this usually doesn't happen. But I have to show you how I'm holding this thing. I'm holding it like this, and oops, here, let me go. Ah, there we go. And this little bit here, ever since I picked it up, this thing has been just like a helicopter, just moving. That I just nudged it, but or it looks like I just nudged it. But look at that. I mean, both ends are just they're just moving. They're just moving. And so it's very difficult to do this because both ends are moving like this, and it's like I'm not doing anything. So when I hold it, let's see if I can hold it. There we go. So I'm not moving my hand, but both ends are just whirling about like a whirling dervish. Um, Makes it very hard to determine if you know what's going on. Let me try the rods. I haven't done the rods in like ages, but I saw a video a couple of days ago where they were talking, and there was a guy who was like a psychic who was doing it, and he was doing a reading with somebody who does rods, and the rods the rods, as you know, are very, you have to hold your hands very, very still in order to do them. So right now they're stationary. Okay, show me yes, please. Show me yes, please. Sunshine, are you there? Are you going to show me yes or not? No. Okay. I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to worry about it. But anyway, but they were doing the rods, and the thing that kind of got to me, it didn't get to me really, really intensely, but it got to me a little bit where they were doing the rods, and somebody said, and he would ask a question, and then they would flip the screen over to the person with the rods, and the rods would be doing yes to the answer to the question. And I was like, I want to actually see the rods move, unlike what just happened here. I want to see them move so that that I get a gist of what's going on. So so what I'm getting is that there is that sense that that he is willing himself to stay alive until his birthday. So, and once his birthday passes, um, his health may not continue. I'm not going to guess that he is going to pass. But when I compare this to what happened 40 years ago with my grandmother and how after her mother passed, she had willed herself to stay alive until after her mother passed. And once her mother had passed and she knew that she was okay and she was on the other side, then her health went down. And that just got me to thinking about all of this. Is that what's going to happen? Is the will to survive until a certain time or a certain date? Is it possible that their health could decline drastically after they've reached that goal of coming to a place? And the yes card just popped out. So, yeah, this is possible that this could happen. Now, I'm not saying that it should or it will or whatever. I'm just asking objectively if this is possible that this could happen. And it is a very, very legitimate question because the human will is that powerful that we can will ourselves into, when I was in school, we read a book. It was about the book was about about a guy who was prophesized that he was going to unalive his father and marry his mother. It's called Oedipus. And it's a very old classic Greek mythology. Okay, this is a very old story. And what happened was his parents found out about this prophecy that was going to happen to him, to them. And so they tried to do whatever they could to test the fates, to keep the fates from allowing this to happen. And what ultimately happened is that he ended up doing exactly what it was prophesied to do, because his parents had made the decision to get him out of their lives. So they ended up prophesizing. The prophecy ended up being actualized, but in most instances, the human will can only do so much. It can only go so far. And then, because as I say, all good things come to an end, all things do come to an end. There is a beginning and there's an ending to everything. So it's like when I got diagnosed with cancer, I had my life before cancer and I had my life after cancer. So, and then whatever choices or decisions that I make, it would be what it is. But the thing is, what differentiates you know who from Oedipus is that you know who is willing himself to defy the odds. And Oedipus just went through the motions and ended up doing what he did. So the thing is, the will is of the people is strong, but the universe is stronger. And so that's the sort of gist that I get with all of this. That this is that the will eventually break down, and because nothing lasts forever. And so the will that this guy has to stay upright is breaking down, and it's happening very rapidly now because the medicines that he's on are no longer working. Because when you take too much medicine, um, it's when you take the medicine, your immune system builds up against the medicine. It's like my husband when he has back pain, and I smear this cream on him that's against, this, it's called Voltaren, and it's for back pain. It's for like muscle pain. And so my husband gets back pains, and I smear this cream on him. And for a while, the cream actually works, and he's able to, move. But after a time, when I keep smearing this cream on him, his immunity to that cream builds up. And so you need more of the cream to counter the back pain. Well, it's the same thing with any kind of medication that people are on. In order for a person to take to that medication, they have, and because it's fighting disease and what have you, then more and more medicine has to be added to the regimen in order for that person to with the immune system to counter that. So I'm not, this is for entertainment only. I'm not a scientist. I never claimed to be, but this is something that I have come to understand when it comes to the medication. Because why else would somebody have to use more medication to relieve back pain or any headaches or what have you? Why would they have to take more medicine? Because their immunity to that medicine has built up, and so they require more in order to keep going. And this is what's happening to you know who. He is taking this medication, and now the medication is no longer working because his ailments have progressed to such a degree that the medication is no longer applicable for his condition. So that's what I'm getting. That's what I'm thinking is going on here. And that's why I think that this is why a counter to his willing himself to continue, the medicine not working, and the goal, the intention to survive until one's 80th birthday. And his will is pretty strong. I mean, considering, because most people who had the same ailments and stuff that he had would probably have already passed over. But because his will is so strong to survive until his 80th birthday, once his 80th birthday passes, that's in 10 days, what's going to happen? Hogarth said all bets are off. Astrologically, he says all bets are off with this guy. And I'm starting to think that that's kind of sort of what's going to happen. All bets will be off. Will you know who be in power on the 250th birthday of the US of A? Will he be in power on that day? Okay, on the 4th of July. And I know that the guides don't usually do time. They don't usually operate under time, but will he be in power? That's what I'm getting. No. Under it is yes, but maybe. Okay, the base says also yes. But the thing is, depending on how much time is going to pass with regards to him, I'm wondering if this is a combination of will, intention, fear, and I don't know, is who afraid to pass over? Who afraid to pass over? Is he afraid? Because fear can do some of the weird stuff to us. I mean, fear can have a diverse or adverse reaction on our physicality and on our body. Is he afraid to pass over? Is he afraid? Yes, he is. Don't need cards really for that, but yeah. So that's what I'm getting there. Okay, so I'm going to move to the tarot again, and we're going to do the energy and see what's going to happen here. Let's see what could happen. As a energy shifts all the time, so I mean, this isn't 100% accurate. This is for entertainment only, as I said earlier. Sometimes I forget to say that, but all of my readings, all of the things that I do are for entertainment only. So we'll see what's going on here. But Will, you know who? What's the energy surrounding you know who? What is the energy surrounding you know who? Another card. Card down. Oh, the guide said, put that back in the deck. It's not worth it. It's not helpful. Okay. Alrighty. Here. Just pop it down here. Okay. Alrighty. So what's the energy around you know who? Well, we got the Queen of Cups. And the Queen of Cups, I'm out of practice, so I have to El Chito here. The Queen of Cups is the sensitive and thoughtful, charming, creative, sometimes detached energy. What I'm getting from this is not that you know who is any of these qualities. What I'm getting is another episode of Touched by an Angel that popped into my head. It was called Into the Light. And what it's about is a guy who was sort of a con man, who is trying to prove, because he had an experience that scared him the bejeebers out of him, and now he's trying to prove that he's all those things to get into heaven. He's trying to prove it. He's trying to show it. Of course, a narcissist doesn't have any ability to show that they're nice, kind, gentle, all the things that this card is supposed to imply, that they don't have that. But there is that fear that what is happening in his future is that he thinks that it will buy his way into heaven, that it will buy him time. And so what he's doing, and what I think he's doing, is that he's trying to convince people that he's right and that he's not this evil individual, but he's not able to really show that. And so this energy is, I think it's sort of the counter energy to him. And I think that it's also this notion, the energy is, the energy is very strong, and it's saying, wait a minute. Okay, let me see if I can get this right here. The guides are saying that it's not about him. This card is not about him. It's about us. And it's about the way we look at him. The best way to counter evil in the world is with love, with hope, with optimism. And I'm just getting chills all over. But it is kindness, gentility, honesty, love, all of those positive emotions. The Queen of Cups is about the compassionate queen. It is about the person who is willing to fill your cup full with all of these good qualities, all of these loving qualities. And what does a narcissist not like? Is when the people that he perceives as their enemy is going to come out and be loving towards him. They're going to respond in a loving way. That energy is going to drive him insane. That's what I'm getting. That is, oh my God, that is the most powerful thing that I've actually read with this card, is that this loving, kind, gentle, compassionate energy is going to drive him nuts. And he's not going to know what to do with it. It's crossed by the Two of Cups, which is about, um, it's about taking this energy and sharing it. The Two of Cups to me is about sharing. It's about, it comes to me as a form of sharing, of not just talking about the person and their and the bad things that they do, but it's about really sharing this compassion. And so what we are being told, what this energy is telling me, is that this isn't about him at all. This is about us and how we can take our compassion, our love, and our hope, and we can share it with each other and expound on it. And as light workers, that is what we are given the task to do. We are taking this energy and we are saying, okay, we're going to expound on it, we're going to share it, we're going to give it to others, and we're going to keep it in balance with ourselves, with what we are doing. And this isn't me, this is the guides. The guides are telling me this, and I'm just blabbing it off. So hopefully it makes sense. But we are told that we cannot hope or wish or aspire for this person to no longer be with us. But what we can do is we can take all that energy, that is coming to us about this shift and about everything that's happening, and we can take it and we can say, we are going to expound on it. We're going to say, we're going to share that. We're going to give that to others. We're going to give that to ourselves. We're going to empower the world with love, compassion, hope, and the aspirations for a future that will bring us peace and love and harmony. The underarching energy is the Ace of Wands. And and aces are about beginnings, about new beginnings, about new starts, coming into that new beginning. That when we create this harmonious energy, when we expound on that harmonious energy, we will create a new beginning for ourselves, for our families, for our children, for our lives, for our world. And that is what this is. This is about us creating a new beginning that will help us come to the next step, come into the next frame of reference, come into the next frame of being, and not worry. In the immediate past, we had the Ten of Cups. Now, the Ten of Cups is usually about happy families and harmony and all those things. And since this is in the position in the past, this is perhaps our realization that we had this. We had this all along, that this harmony and this happiness and this joy could be found all for in the past, in the present, in the future, we have that energy, that positive energy. And so we just had to embrace it. We were sitting here worried and stewing in our juices about all the stuff that's going on. I was stewing about jobs and all this other junk. And then I realized I have what I need. I have my family, I have my friends, I have the singing and the choir and the music and all the things that bring me joy and bring me happiness. I have the writing now. I have all of those things. And that is, I've always had it. It's always been there. I just needed to embrace it. The overarching energy is the Four of Swords. Now, of all of the cards, they call this the Minor Arcana Death card. And overarching energy is, okay, this is going to sound really weird, but I'm getting it's the passing of this individual. It's you know who's ultimate passing. And that is the energy that is covering everything. It is the DEATH watch that some people are doing online. It is that feeling of that energy that this is what has been blanketing us for so long. This energy where people are hoping for the DEATH of you know who. But what it is, in fact, is we've been blanketed by this person for so long, and all of this negative energy has been accumulating and accumulating and accumulating, and we are sitting in that place where we are where people are literally waiting for this moment to come and waiting for this to happen. And it's like this is robbing us of our joy. It is robbing us of the happiness and the joy that we can experience in our lives because we are waiting for this. And perhaps when it comes, people will start to embrace all of the stuff that's happening beneath all of it. We'll be able to embrace all this. Once this comes, we'll embrace all of this. But the thing is, we can do that now. We can embrace all the joy and the happiness that we deserve right now, even with this hanging over us. In the immediate future, we have the Eight of Wands, which is moving forward. This is the trucking forward, moving forward. These wands are in motion. They are moving. They are, we are on a trajectory now where we can move forward in our lives, and we can move forward and do the things that we want to do, and we can find the hope and the aspirations that we need to find through this. We are moving forward. We are on a trajectory, and that's what this card is telling us, or at least that's what it's telling me. That's what my guides are telling me. Internally, the Chariot. That is moving forward. Again, this reemphasizes this. The Chariot is reemphasizing this moving forward, that we are in a state of motion and that we are moving forward in the world to see what is going to happen next, what we are going to experience next. But we are holding on to the optimism, we are holding on to the positivity and moving forward. Sometimes this can be a card where people are stagnant, where they stagnate and then they move forward slowly, then they move forward slowly, then they move forward slowly. What I'm getting is that this is a massive moving forward, just because of this card becoming before it. This is that trucking on, moving forward. That energy is really, really powerful. Externally, we have the World. This is the endings and beginnings. So this is like, oh my goodness, this is very, very positive to me. This is like, once the Four of Swords takes place, the world becomes a more open, positive place. And I think a lot of readers are getting this, that once this happens, that we have that energy of optimism and faith and hope and all that the world will be a better place. But this is the endings and beginnings. This is the last this is the last card of the major arcana. This is the world, and it is that really that ending and of a cycle. We are at the end of a cycle. Astrologically, they're saying that we are that 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 this stuff is happening. I would recommend, if you're really into astrology, if you want to, like, one of the channels I would recommend is Hogarth's astrology. Hogarth is probably one of the few people that I actually watch on YouTube who really explains astrology in such a way that idiots like me can understand it. I just say it straight up. He is very, very good. He does very, very good work, and he does an area of astrology that talks about not just personal people, but countries and nations and things like that. So he does astrology on, I guess, inanimate things. So I know the planet is like a living, breathing thing. It's an organism that's living and breathing and all that. But Hogarth does it in such a way that you can really grasp what he's saying about it. And I think that he's one of the best people that does that. There's a lot of astrologers that are really good on YouTube, but I think Hogarth is one of the best. I really do enjoy watching his videos. When he starts talking about astrology, I hang on every word, just because he's so good at it. And I think that this is what it is. It's changing of the cycles. It's a new cycle, changing, new beginnings, endings of an old way of thinking, an old way of doing things, and stepping into the new. And that's what I think is the energy around this month. Um, Hopes and dreams of the Seven of Swords. This Seven of Swords actually popped up, I think, earlier. But Seven of Swords is trying to hold your own. The Seven of Swords, you notice that this guy is like walking away with all these swords, and he's leaving two behind. So my guides are saying that this is like the shoddy, um, this unreliable people who are involved right now in the political system, and what they're trying to do. They're trying to get away. The rats from the sinking ship are trying to get away because the empowerment of the human mind and the people is becoming so overwhelming that they can't do anything else. They have to grab what they can and try to run. And that's what we're seeing. We are seeing these people who have done all this evil and all this bad stuff for everybody else. We're seeing their karma coming home to roost, and they are running because they cannot escape from the positive energy that we as light workers are embracing the world with. So they're trying to get out before all hexkey breaks loosekey, if you will. The final outcome is the Six of Swords. This is bringing your ship in to harbor. This is the that we that whatever people. This could be read in two different ways. It could be read in our way of us coming into harbor, of moving our ship through beyond the troubled waters and into a still and peaceful resolution. And for the negative people, we are seeing their karma catching up with them. So I think that can be read in like two different ways. You can read it if you're looking at it from the perspective of us as light workers, bringing our ship out of troubled waters into stiller waters and into harbor. And you can read it as the um, as the people, the evil people who are not able to control us any longer. And they're not able to control the narrative. They're losing control of the narrative because the narrative is becoming more empowerment, more peace, more knowledge, more wisdom. People are getting fired from newscasting because these people do not like what they're saying. And this is they don't like what they're saying. They're trying to control this narrative, but they can't. The control is lost. So the people that have been supporting this evil are basically they're losing their power. At the base, we have the Four of Pentacles, which is about the hoarding, about taking money, taking things, taking whatever they can. These people are they're trying to save their skin, is what they're trying to do. And they're taking the money, whatever money they can get, they're taking it, and they're trying to save their skin. And then we have the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is the same. It is trying to. They're standing at their door, and they're trying to guard. They're trying to protect themselves. They're trying to protect what they have. They're they're um they're trying to protect things by controlling what's going on or what people are seeing or saying or hearing. And they are doing everything they can to keep this light from coming. It's like trying to take a dark blanket, and trying to cover a window to keep the light from coming in. And that's what they're trying to do. And they're trying to stand in this place, and they're trying to protect what they have. And much of it is the money. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune is about their karma. And that karma is going to catch up with them. Because, they say Wheel of Fortune, turn, 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 it turns around. So the Wheel of Fortune has not yet determined what's going to happen to these individuals. But what it is doing is it's saying that, your karma is going to come and catch you, and it's going to be either positive or negative. Whatever it is you have done in your life, the Wheel of Fortune is that karma that will come back to you. And finally, we have the Five of Pentacles, which is being left out in the cold. They are being left out in the cold. They are not able to. They're not able to protect everything that they are wanting, because people are waking up, and being awake is not a cardinal sin. Being awake is the recognition of what is going on in the world and acknowledging it. And the reason that they had so much power was because they kept people asleep, and they kept people from recognizing what it is that they are doing. And now that people are seeing what they are doing, they're they're racing around, like scattering around like cockroaches on a kitchen floor. They do not know what to do. They're not in that mindset where they know what to do. And that's why they're getting all these cards are coming up. For us, they're coming up positive and light and enlightenment and recognition and all these things. And then for these folks, they're getting the Five of Pentacles. They're getting we're screwed. They're basically getting, yeah. And so yeah. So that is what I got with the cards. This energy is for us, it's a very positive thing. But for those who are practicing evil, and those who are doing these evil things, it's not. It's not a good thing. It's not a good energy to be in. It's not a good thing to be steeped in. And so, what does June look like for us? It looks like a month of recognition, of acknowledging, and of finding and seeking out our peace and our joy and our love. But it's also a month of fighting back against the evil that is trying to control everything that's happening. And I think that given the cards that I got, I think that it's a very good possibility that we are on the right track, and that we are doing what it is we need to do to come out of this unscathed, if you will. So that is what I've got here. I haven't done I haven't done any reading in a while. I even actually brought my Black Cat Tarot. So I'm going to pull a card for us from the Black Cat Tarot, because I just think this card deck is so cute. Oops. Last card. Can't do it without a full deck here. So the Black Cat Tarot. I'm going to pull just a card for us, and I'm going to see what the card says, and then I will close, because I've been on long enough. But I hadn't been on a while, so I can do a little bit longer of a video today. But and what do the guides have to tell us? What's our message from the guides? Five of Wands. Now the Five of Wands is about conflict. It is about two sides in conflict with each other. So basically what this is telling me is that we are going to still be in conflict. There's still going to be conflict. But one of the things I really loved was I was watching Hogarth today, and Dave uh, said something that I thought was really, really interesting. And he made an analogy about the people standing on two sides of a river throwing spears at each other. And he said he had the north side and the south side. And what he said that really just clicked with me was that the people who are on the north side or on the, because when you look at the north and south, you think of the Civil War, which is what he said. He said you think of the Civil War, and he said that they're throwing spears at each other. And he said the north side is getting larger. The number of people on the north side throwing their spears is getting larger, and the people on the south side is getting smaller. And so what he basically implied was that all of the things that are happening right now, the people that we are fighting against, as this Five of Wands implies, the people that we are fighting against, their strength is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. It is just coming apart at the seams. And so this is why this card I think came up, is that this is reminding me, or reminding us, that this is the reality, that their power, they're trying to convince us that they're so powerful and great, but the reality is their power is just disintegrating. It is absolutely falling to bits. It's falling apart. And I think that is what going on here. I think that is what we are seeing happening, is we are seeing that this is a power struggle that we are in right now, and who is going to win? The dark side or the light? I mean, makes me think of Star Wars, but who's going to win? Is it the dark side or is it the light? The people of the light? And that is what's happening. And the people on the dark side are getting their groups are getting smaller and smaller, and they're getting louder and louder. And people think that means that's a sign of strength and what have you. But the reality is that when people are cornered, when rats are cornered, or when an animal is cornered, they will fight harder to try to win. And what I see happening is that these people are in a corner right now, and they're trying to fight harder because they are being defeated by the light. They are being defeated by people. And I think that is what all of these cards are saying. They're saying stay in the light, keep, you know, don't I don't want to adapt a Michelle Obama quote, when they go low, we go high, because that has proven politically not to work. But in the sense of light and fighting against the darkness, that is what we have to do. We have to go high. We have to look at the light. We have to go to the light. We have to see the light for what it is. That light is the power that we have when it comes to going into battle with all of this evil that's going on. We have to go to the light. But that is our power, and that is our strength. It doesn't mean that we have to that we're not supposed to fight dirty, if you will, if it comes to that. But it is about reminding ourselves that we are of the light, and that we are going to stay in the light, even if we have to speak truth to power. And I think that's what it is. I think that's what it boils down to: speaking the truth to the power. And and that is where it's hurting them. They are losing money. We are fighting with our pocketbooks as opposed to with our fists. We are deciding not to buy things from certain companies or certain places, and their bottom line is going down, because that is what we are doing. We have decided we do not want to support people who are promoting this evil. And so that's what I'm going to leave you with. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for being here. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, hitting bells, whatever, ding dong, whatever. Um, but I appreciate you for, being patient with me while I work through a couple of weeks of, not doing anything. I'm back, and hopefully I will be able to come on more often and do videos. But right now, I needed some time, and I got it. And now I'm getting ready to sing in concerts and do all these other fun stuff in June. And so I hope you have a great day. Take care, and as always, namaste.